Do it. Come on.
Right
I
on
wanted to
time.
start without Matt.
Right
You're not
on
on time.
time.
You're late. You're a minute late.
What do you mean?
You're a minute late. What do you mean? What do I mean?
They
I'm
got the
never
caffeine
late.
rolling.
Yep, Brian's all jacked up. All right, cool, good. What is it today? Wednesday?
Today is Wednesday.
Holy shnikes.
February.
February 1st.
Yeah.
Happy February 1st, guys.
Is that a thing?
What today it is. Put that thing a little closer next
I
time.
like it like this. Oh,
All right, so here's the deal, everybody.
I feel weird sitting next to you.
I know. That's
afraid.
why I'm uncomfortable. That's why I tried to
afraid.
be.
You guys
need to cuddle up.
I think he's gonna try
I
to
know.
hold my hand.
Well, Brian did ask if we could do the show
I
holding
did. I wanna
hands.
hold
You want to
hands.
hold
We're
hands?
friends.
All right. So here's the deal, everybody. We are starting TRS Live Podcast, but Brian and I wanted to make a real quick announcement before we get to our awesome guests. I think by the shirts, you can kind of tell who's joining us today. So here, we're making a little bit of a name switch and a little bit of schedule switch. Are you ready? Pump the brakes. Andy, pump them one more time. There it is. Okay. So,
I got it.
there
There
it
you
is.
go. Good job, Andy.
Okay,
Way to
so
be awake.
Brian and I are going to be now calling this show, this Monday, Wednesday, Friday show, the Dude Factor. So there you got it. So that is going to be what this show is going to be called. And there might be some logo switches. We just kind of working on this.
We just fly by the seat of our pants
do,
around here, man. Yeah,
so
for sure.
this is going to be the show that's going to be on Fixed TV. And then the Real Shot, so TRS Live, will be more hosted on the Real Shot side.
And we might actually talk about like real shots.
The Real Shot, right?
Yeah.
Well, and that's what we discussed. It. So thanks to Daryl. Yes, Daryl is excited, Brian.
Yes. There you go,
This is
Daryl.
Daryl's kind of
Daryl,
suggestion.
if you subscribe to Fix TV, let me know. Shoot me a DM, please.
Shoot him a DM. So we realized that on TRS Live, we don't really talk a whole lot about the Real Shot. We tried to. We talk
We just
more
get
about
really into
the dude
tangents,
stuff.
man. We get into tangents.
So in the dude factor, I really like that name because of the fact that, you know, we could do comparisons. Like, do the coots have the dude factors? And I think that's what you're gonna find. So
Where's my car, dude?
where's my car, dude? So yeah, so this show will be now called the Dude Factor, and then we're working on the schedule with the Real Shot. The Real Shot will have their own show still called TRS
and we'll probably
Live.
be on that one too.
Yeah. So
It's okay. I like talking.
So anyways, just so you know, if you are tuned into this show, yes, you're still watching a great show called The Dude Factor. So bringing in our guests.
I want to know what Daryl does. Sorry.
He's a truck driver.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, I was wondering, like, the other day he was in Texas.
Now he's in
New Mexico.
Yeah, he's a truck
All right.
driver,
Okay,
bro.
I'm sorry.
He's
Okay.
rolling on that highway.
Okay, all about Coot now. Sorry.
Okay, so now we have the Coots in here, the Williamses. How are you guys today?
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes.
I love doing this kind of stuff, talking to people, hopefully educating some people on some stuff,
Yep.
the way I do things.
Yep. So we got Paul and Aaron, but it's just simply called the Coots, right?
Yeah.
And
Do you go by the Coots plural now? Is that a thing?
Well, it sounds like it's going to be.
it's gonna be,
too,
right?
right,
Like,
yeah.
it's- well, you got the name, right?
Yep, because everybody says, how did you get the nickname?
Yeah, I was just
Coot?"
going to ask, how did you
Yep.
get that anyways? I have no idea.
My father raised me on shooting coots, mud hens.
Really?
Back in the day. And when I was a teenager, we found this place over in Buffalo Lake by Montello.
Yep.
The DNR, this is 1975, they estimated 3 million coots on the lake. Yeah, right. So we go over there opening day, and it's just black of mud hens. We hunted over 10 years down there.
Really?
My dad, this was a personal record. He got 15 one shot, and I got 11 in one shot.
What?
So we do a lot of ground swatting for coots.
Yes.
Wow. All right. Well, they don't really fly. You really have no other
No,
options.
no, but
I mean,
we love eating the coots. We, breasts, hearts, gizzards, and legs.
really, you eat the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I'd rather have that than steak. If I had a coot, I'd take the coot.
Are you kidding? You're kidding.
No.
Still to this day.
Yep.
So we
got
need to
guys
do a
that'll
separate show just on Coot preparation.
We probably could. I got it on my Coots
Because I think
Kitchen.
everybody thinks of them like sheephead kind of. They're kind of like a.
I like
waist
sheephead
duck.
too, especially when I've been on a trawler for the DNR.
Okay.
And it's always the last month in October when we do the trawl. They would keep so many for all the volunteers over the years. So they would do a sheephead fry. Just keep that top back strap, and boy, it's just like eating walleye.
Really?
Cold water and all. It's awesome.
So I could follow that with the sheephead because obviously down south they're not like
That's a different
they're
type
not
of sheephead. Yeah.
No, I know, but I mean it's just it's kind of this freshwater drum. It's
Right.
kind of in that same category.
Right.
But the Coot thing really blows my mind. I didn't think anybody touched those.
Oh,
I thought they were like seagulls.
Yeah, I know everybody just like, oh, it's like some people like liver. I can't stand liver, but
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah.
I love the gizzards. I love goose gizzards too. So
Wow.
So with the
you
preparation
literally
of,
learn something new every day.
well, I think this is awesome. With the preparation of the coot, did you have to like marinate it, or did you have to like let it? Because like some people use like buttermilk or stuff like that. Did you have to do that before eating it, or did you just you could skin it and go right away?
skin it, and you got to take all the fat off.
Yep.
Because the fat gives you that wild game taste.
Yep.
So once you get all the fat off, we separate the breasts, the legs, and the hearts and the gizzards are all separate. Then my mom would cook them for 3 hours. We put them with celery, potatoes, and onions, and a lot of salt and pepper.
Okay.
And after the 3 hours, we can eat it that way, or else my mom would pan fry them, then make them a little crispy with Crisco and butter.
No way.
So, and when I had pool parties at our house, I don't know if the guys were all drunk, but they liked the coots because they were gone.
Really?
Wow.
Now, do you still eat coot to this day, Aaron?
I partake to keep the legacy going. It's not my favorite dish, but I do enjoy it.
It's a
I think
family
it was,
commitment, it sounds like.
I think it was one of the first wild game I ever had.
Okay.
It was kind of introduced at a young age. My sister doesn't really care for it.
Yep.
Sorry, Jessica. But other than that, he took me coot hunting at a young age. And then he always told me about how coots always just stay very close together. So I think on my very first shot ever shooting a coot, I think I had 2 or 3, which I was kind of surprised because I didn't think I'd be like one at a time, one shot, one kill.
Right.
But coot hunting is a little bit different.
So,
I don't think I've ever met anybody that's Coot hunted before.
well, that's
That's the first for
We
me.
might have to take you out.
This-
maybe
I mean,
find
I've
some.
seen them. I duck hunt. No, but I duck hunt a lot. But
Yeah.
I've seen them swimming through my decoys. I've seen them all over the place. Just didn't think they were any good to eat.
And the thing is, when they migrate at night. So you don't, also next day they're here.
Yep.
Really?
You know? Yeah.
That's crazy.
So
Because that's when you do your what is that? You have to do your all your numbers. What is it? Not hip or whatever. Like when you apply for your waterfall tank.
Oh, right. Yeah.
They ask for
the hip
like
certification
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, hip certification. One of
Oh.
the questions is, did you shoot any coots or rail hens?
okay.
You know, and most people answer 0 because they don't, you know,
Right.
they're not hunting them. But
Yeah.
Is there? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, is there? Can you shoot as many as you want?
That was literally my question.
When I was younger, it was 15, then it went down to 10, and it went down to 5. Now I think it's back up to 15 again.
Okay.
So
See, and that's kind of where with the sheephead thing too, is like a lot of people underestimate probably how good a sheephead is, just because you look at it visually and you're like, I don't want to eat that. You think of how they feed and everything, but I've had a lot of friends, like you said too, like you can't tell if you put it in with walleye, bluegill. You know, obviously bluegill fillets are a little different. Most people can't tell that they're eating sheephead
right.
if it's if it's made correctly.
Right. And the thing is with a coot, they're so vegetarian. They don't eat any fish that I've noticed. Just like a bluebill, they eat minnows sometimes. Same with the mergansers. They eat minnows and small perch probably.
Yep.
But to me, the coot does not have that wild game taste like you think.
Interesting.
Well, there you go. I
guess
that.
I'll have to get some coots and have you guys.
we're
down
gonna
for a
have
night.
to.
So now, all I can get past is you said you have the leg meat. They're not very. What
They're
are we
not
talking
very-
like
yeah.
little mini nuggets here, or what are we talking about? Because
They have a lot of tendons, so I just kind of suck it off with a tendon. You know?
It's like a chicken wing.
well, that's why you
kinda.
gotta have 15. Coot's not a little dude. I mean,
Right.
you're talking like
Yeah.
you got to eat 20 of these, right?
I can probably eat 5.
Yeah, we're actually hoping to plan a coot hunt maybe next year. I don't know yet, because obviously a lot of people are like more curious about the nickname, and he hasn't gone coot hunting in how many-
Years, yeah.
Okay.
So,
I'm too busy fishing, having
Yeah.
fun
Yeah.
doing this stuff. It's just, I've been retired. It'll be 6 years in May, and I'm glad he's on board, because through high school and college, he was so busy with sports and all that, we couldn't really have weekends together or nothing like that. So
Yep.
now I'm spending as much time as I can with him to, keep this going.
So why don't we start with you, Paul? Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your background and then how we kind of got to here, and then we'll have Aaron kind of do the same thing.
Sure. I was a firefighter in Appleton here for 28 years. I retired May of 2017, but Coots Lures actually started in 2004. And I should actually say 2000, I had a PWT guy stay at my house. His name was Mark Wisdella. And he showed me how to run worm harnesses. He'd use a flutter spoon, 5-foot leader, than the worm harness here. Well, after learning how this technique and that, it was working really good. So I started combining the flutter spoon with the worm harness, and I started building kits. So I approached Paul Grawl, the owner of HT, and I was getting to know him through Walleyes for Tomorrow, because he kept donating a lot of stuff to our program. And Paul thought it was kind of neat how I got this kit. So this kit had 19 pieces, and with the kit, I could build over 1,000 different lures in my boat.
Wow.
It was all interchangeable. So 2004, I went to the Green Bay Sports Show. I sold out of the kits. I had to do a lot of talking. I lost because it was so new. And
You had to
people like,
explain it constantly, right?
yeah. And I had a schematic on the back, so you could look at the back and say, well, I'm going to try this lure today. So you're using a lure on the lake that nobody else has.
Yes.
And I was catching fish on it. I says, this is really cool. I'll start building lures, So I can't win a tournament, but maybe I'll just build lures. So progressed to like then I actually talked to Keith Cabayas and Gary Parsons about my product and all that. And he says, yeah, we'll help promote it. So I had to sign a contract. He says, well, if you make over $100,000, we start getting part of it. 100,000? I said, well, you're giving me a lot of leeway here. This
Right.
is pretty cool. So 2007, I came up to Keith. I says, I have a rattling worm harness. Kind of looks at me. He says, what the hell's a rattling worm harness? So I showed him my system, and he's looking at it and looking. He says, boy, I don't know. So I actually fished with him at Beta Knock in 2000. He took 4th place with my lures. Really cool. He made money on my stuff.
Yeah.
So 2008, we're back up at Beta Knock again. I'm fishing with Gary Parsons this time. And we're pulling harnesses. We can't do nothing. He said, let's go to cranks, some reef runners. So I get out the colors I want to use. I take off the back treble hook and I put on one of my hook harnesses because it's interchangeable. And I showed him that. He looks at it. He says, what the hell is that? I said, well, I do this on Winnebago with shad wraps. All right, go ahead, put it out there. So I put it out there. No more than 10 minutes, that board's buried. We get a 12-pound walleye. I went, whoa, this is the biggest fish I ever caught. He looks at me, he says, damn, we caught 6 walleyes for over 60 pounds.
Wow.
He didn't win the tournament because he couldn't catch a slot fish.
Oh, Jesus.
If he would have caught a slot fish, he would have won the tournament.
I hate slot tournaments.
So
Yeah.
I actually
whole nother
made,
thing.
it was Gary, Keith, and Chase, and I made them all hook harnesses, and they all cashed a check on that little trick I showed them up there. So ever since then, I've been really great friends with those guys and all that kind of stuff. And they call me more much. I'm the boat bitch now. so if we make a mess in a boat, I clean them up for them. I clean their windshields, just have a good old time. And, they took me in. They're such nice people.
Yes.
To get in that circle, like, wow, it's awesome, that kind of stuff. So I've been hanging around with Keith, doing a lot of stuff with him. He invites me down to Florida fishing. That's fun down there.
Oh, yeah.
But so to progress, at about 2012, I was going to Beijing, China with Paul Grohl for HT. He wanted to do an ice fishing show over there, and he invited me. He paid for the whole way, and I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. At the time, the Chinese people were looking to fun fish. Otherwise, it was always looking for food. So we did this show, met a lot of people, and I got my picture taken so many times over because Chinese love American people. I think they thought I was a sumo wrestler or something over there. Hilarious. So we're walking around Tiananmen Square, and all of a sudden this girl runs up and says, hold baby, hold baby. I says, why? Oh, I want a picture with baby. I said, oh, okay. So I'm waiting for, oh, it's a little boy. I'm waiting for him to pee. I mean, no diaper.
Oh, no, jeez, yeah.
So I hand the baby back, and all of a sudden Paul grabs mine. He says, don't you ever do that. I says, why is that? He says, they'll give you a baby girl and they'll run away because they want baby boys. I said, well, I didn't know anything about that.
Right.
You got
I wouldn't have thought that either.
Oh,
So that's where I came from.
Yeah.
Yes.
But no, it was really a cool experience to meet these people over there. And that's where the Rattling Wasp started in 2012. I had a guy make me some lures over there. We were getting it down to the tee, and he had a problem with the paint job. It wouldn't stick. He says, well, I need an order for 10,000. I says, I can't do that because if the paint don't stick, I can't sell lures.
Right.
So he's not going to do it.
Right.
So after that, I took that prototype to James Hallsworth over in Iowa. And he was looking for a walleye guy, and I told him what I had and what I wanted to do and all that. So he proceeded with the Rattling Wasp. So we have size 4s and size 5s. And thanks to you and your dad, James, they took over the Rattling Wasps in 2016. They did the exclusive, and it's just been going gangbusters on that.
I got to stop him there, though. I actually introduced James Keller to him because I played at UWO.
Yeah, I was gonna get into your football
Okay,
stuff.
yeah.
Well, every time your dad would come to kind of give us like a pep talk or whatnot, I was like, I learned that he liked to fish and stuff, and I was like, my dad likes to fish. And then the TRS came about, and I was just like, well, let me give you his number, and it went from there. And
Yep.
So what years did you play in Oshkosh?
I was there at 2014 when Nate Ware was there.
Yep.
When we went one game away from the national championship.
Yep.
So
Nice.
kind of when UWO started to surge.
Right. Yep.
The first conference championship, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, my son just transferred. He's going to be playing there now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Hi, James. Thanks for helping here.
Caps into Florida Keys
Yeah.
roughing it right now.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
No, he called me last night. He's bored already.
He's bored.
Yeah, he called me last night. Want to know all. He had questions about everything because when he's not working, he's if he's down there, he's still trying to work.
All right.
He thinks he's retired, but he just can't stop. Right? I mean, you've talked to him a lot. You just can't stop, right?
Man,
so last night he called me and he had all these questions, and we're going through all this financial stuff. And I hung up the phone, and my wife goes, "Who is that?" I go, "That's Dad." She goes, "What do you want?" I'm like, "He's bored already. He's ready to get back to
Doesn't
work."
that sound very vaguely familiar with the guy that's sitting just to my left here?
Yeah, I think I've heard that.
When Brian is on vacation, that's when you know you should have your phone ready to be getting ideas.
Well, you get
like,
a lot of time to sit and think.
when he's in a deer stand, it's the absolute worst. Because like if he's not seeing deer, he's thinking of ideas, and you better be. We always the joke is, and it's a joke, and Brian
I
this
admit
cool
it.
goes
It's
around
okay.
with it.
Yeah.
You never write here with pen.
Nope.
When you're around Brian, you always write with pencil, because by the time you're about to put the period at the end, it's already been modified and changed.
Well, the thing is so I'm an idea guy, right? Maybe you appreciate this. I'm an idea guy. I'm always brainstorming all the time.
Yep.
So, I don't want to keep it all internal, So I want people to hear it. So I
Yep.
say it aloud, but then I'm here at work and they're like, well, the boss just said something. We got to do it. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm just talking. Let's just.
Well, that's how you come up with ideas.
Yes.
And right now, I'm in the stages of prototyping a new tip-up system that HT wants to get on the
Nice.
market. I says, first, we're doing a year on it because I want to make sure all the bugs are worked
Right, for
out.
sure.
I got 6 pro staffers on HT doing it this year. I'm getting a lot of great reviews. So hopefully in June, we start production. Hopefully, I'm going to splash this out at the St. Paul Ice Show, which is the greatest ice show if you've ever been there. Oh, my
Yeah, I've
God.
been there a
it's
few times.
Awesome, yeah. So get a chance to go over and see that. But a story with your dad, I conned him into doing a Hoagie's Bar tournament that one year.
Okay, yeah.
And I told him we're pulling flies. He said, what? I said, we're going to pull flies. He says, oh, my God, he's never done that before. So we're pulling flies in the mouth of the river, and we stay there all day. He says, I think we should be out there trolling. I says, trust me. The winners are going to come right where we are right now. Sure enough, first, second, and third were right next to us all day long. We did cash a check, and he calls me up the next day. He says, oh, my God, my bicep is just killing me for pulling flies.
It's true. It's a lot more work than trolling. That's
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
So grinding it out. So okay, so great. I mean, I love it. Thank you so much for all your years as being a firefighter.
Yeah, I
too.
was going to say
there's,
that too, yes.
I'm sure there's tons of stories that go along with that. We can kind of get back to that, but we kind of jumped into Aaron with the football thing. So, did you started Aaron in the outdoors as an early age, and then Aaron, how did that progress, for you through high school, college, and so on and so forth?
I'll let you take that.
Yeah, you took me on a youth hunt, I believe, and that kind of kickstarted that. Got a nubby buck my first time out, and I was kind of hooked on that. And then the coot hunting. The sports really kind of deterred the outdoor stuff for about 5 years. I lived in Virginia, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, so I was kind of all over the map. Didn't really get a lot of outdoor time. But I went to UWO. Originally, I went to South Alabama when they started their Division I football program. Thought I could just show up and walk on and make the team. A little bit different story when you're playing with some Southern boys that
Oh, yeah.
they're
Whole
built for
different
that.
ball game.
Yeah.
So I came back to UWO and I stuck it out there, and it was very cool to be part of the first conference championship. I remember when JJ Keller, he gave his like top goals. One of them was win the Iditarod. He's won that how many times now?
6 times, yeah.
He wanted to win a professional walleye tournament. I don't know if that's. I know he hit 3 of 4
Not
so
yet.
far.
Not yet. He hasn't won one yet. He doesn't listen to me.
Yeah. Well, and then the other one was to win like a conference championship and then potential national championship.
Yep.
So after that, UWO, I went to the University of Alabama where I got my master's. I worked in the strength and conditioning weight room. So I worked with the football team, baseball team, women's rowing, women's basketball. So my background is in exercise.
Nice.
So the biggest thing is I worked with a lot of the professional athletes that you'll see on Sunday, which is pretty neat. But then I got a job with the Atlanta Braves, so I was in the minor league system.
Wow.
So that's why I bounced around a lot.
Nice.
First 2 years were a lot. The first year was a lot of fun. Second year was a little bit more work because it's hotel life. So I decided I wanted to come home. I met my wife. Now have a baby, Ashton.
Yeah, congratulations. That's
thank you.
awesome. Yep.
So now I've been enjoying a lot of the outdoors, and right before COVID, I just decided I got an iPhone, and it was a lot faster than my old phone. So I started doing all of his social media, just putting out content. And when COVID happened, it was like we had nothing to do, so we went to De Pere every weekend. I wasn't working, and I just posted videos, and then they just started kind of taking off, and that was when TikTok was pretty hot.
Yeah.
And now it's been a fun little journey. It's fun going to boat launches with him, and people come up to him and say, whatever, hey, I like your videos on Facebook or TikTok or YouTube, or I see you on Twitter. And then, so we got the shirts designed because I was like, well, you got a pretty good fandom. When he was on Head to Head, it was like all the people were commenting. So I was like, we got something here.
Yeah.
So I worked on these for about 2 months. And then when we released them, they sold like candy.
Unbelievable.
Really?
So
Unbelievable.
it was it's kind of my hobby just to promote him, because
Yeah.
it's me giving back to all the years that he was at all my sporting events and
Bleach
whatnot.
your ass.
Yeah.
That's a real thing here.
I mean, all the
a real
wrestling
thing.
tournaments, like he was at everything. So this is me, like my giving back to him. And I'm at a gym all day. I work at Anytime Fitness in Ripon and Waupun, so I have Wi-Fi. So when he's out fishing, he'll send me pictures and then I can upload it.
Okay.
Nice.
And he keeps yelling at me to get in shape. I says, I'm sorry, round is a shape.
Round is a shape, right? So like, hey man, dad bods are in.
Yeah,
like I actually saw like a supplement company now has a like they call it the stack or whatever, right? They have all their
And it's just beer?
well, it's called the dad bod.
Okay.
So this is literally like it's literally a thing now to have the dad bod.
So I got a question for you, just because I'm a football junkie. Okay.
Yep, we know.
You were you worked in Alabama at the Alabama, right?
The university. So fun fact about there's 2 universities in the entire country that the legal name is the university. One is the University of Alabama. Do you know the other?
Ohio State.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be my.
Well, some
guess.
people don't know that. It's
Right.
I
actually
didn't
part
know
of
it.
the,
I just assumed
yeah,
because
because
that's
they-
how they always announce it.
Yeah,
right?
they
Yeah.
announce
The
it.
Ohio State University.
Yep.
so it's part of the legal name. That's
Okay.
why people say it.
Okay, interesting. So my question is what's Nick Saban like in person? Did you ever get to work with him at all?
I had an opportunity to introduce myself, but I heard enough horror stories not to do that. I was around him for 2 years, 2.5 years. The very first week and a half, he never comes down to the field during the summer, and some of the players were getting in trouble and whatnot. So he had to kind of he had to have a talk with
Okay.
the guys. He came down, and so all the guys are circled around, and I'm like, well, there he is, the GOAT. And he comes down, and you don't see him swear on TV or anything like that, but he ripped him a new one.
Oh, I bet he did.
And that was my first experience and get to see him at work. And I was like, pretty intimidating. I'm not going to lie. He is straight business when he's in that building.
Well, yeah, I assumed it was like that because you don't have a team that is that successful for that long.
Right.
If you don't dot every I and cross every T and on time, like
Very disciplined, very he's very tunnel vision. He knows that. So I heard some stories. One of the guys is the head strength coach at Miami. He was at Oregon. He's got the curly mustache. His name's Aaron Feld. So he nicknamed me Bacon at Alabama.
bacon.
Because everybody loves bacon.
Yeah.
But his name was Aaron. He didn't like that, so he just nicknamed me Bacon. But he went up to Saban, I heard, and he just he said he just didn't even acknowledge who he was. He was just like, who are you? You're an intern? Why are you talking
Yeah,
to me?
I don't care. Let's
Right.
get on my
His
face.
pet peeve is wasted time, and
Yeah, I
that's
believe
wasted
it.
time to him. So I had an opportunity. He was at church, and then he always comes in late, always leaves early, so nobody can bother him. Just can do his thing. So I left because we had practice or whatever, and he was behind me with his wife. That was my one opportunity. I could have said something, but I was like, I didn't. But so I've been right by him.
Do you wish you would have?
I do.
I mean,
So
worst case, he just told you to get bent, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean, in front of his wife, probably not. She's
Yeah,
the
right.
sweetest woman ever.
Okay, nice.
She's a great lady. So ever since that moment, I've always taken opportunities because I that was one of the moments that I don't regret, but I'm also it was the professional mindset of I'm not going to treat him any different than anybody else.
Correct,
That's what
right.
I learned at Alabama.
Yes.
It's I worked around Derrick Henry and Amari Cooper. You don't treat them different than a walk-on.
Right.
One of the walk-ons at Alabama was actually Gussie Bush. So all summer I didn't know who he was, and some of the players said, "Hey Gussie, your beer sucks." In my head, it didn't make sense.
Yep.
And everybody's like, "His family owns Bush Beer." I was like, "Huh." So it was kind of neat. So it was and you would have never known
Right.
that. But at Alabama, you have quite the stardom, I guess you will. But
for sure.
nobody is treated any different. It is 100% business when you're there.
Tell them who shows up down there when you were
I
there.
mean, when I was there, so I got the opportunity because I started cleaning the weight room. I just showed up. I went to Auburn, and it was between Auburn and Alabama. Whatever felt right, I was gonna sleep there. It didn't matter. Showed up, started cleaning the weight room for about 12 hours. The guy I was supposed to meet with was sick. He didn't respond to me. So the weight room is guarded, I guess, if you will. So you have to have a scan. I followed somebody in. I've always found my way weaseling in places.
just
Stuck
like
in
today.
Alabama.
Yeah, just like today, stuck in on the show.
Yeah, so
This is a great story. So
Yeah, so I sat there for a little bit. Scott Cochran, he's one of the Georgia coaches now. He was the head strength coach with Saban for about 10 years. I think he's got 9 rings right now, which is incredible. He came up to me and was like, "Hey, who are you?" And I explained, and he did his thing the rest of the day. And I started cleaning because I saw some other guys. I'm like, I'm going to sit here. I don't care. So Peyton Manning walks in, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, that's Peyton Manning. I want a picture with him in my head, but I'm like,
Yeah.
that would ruin all my opportunities probably because somebody's going to see that. I'm like, so that moment on, when you come from Wisconsin, you don't get to see a lot of like big time
games.
celebrities or big athletes. And Peyton Manning's the first guy that walks in. Like I was there on the perfect day because football wasn't training. So other guys were, and a lot of the analysts will come in, work out, whatnot. And then Eddie Lacy came in, and it was just like a really unique day. And then Cochran saw me cleaning all day, and he said, you don't normally start with the football team. You start with the women rower, women basketball. And he said, I want him to start with football right away. So it was like, and it kind of, he took a liking to me. I started training his 8-year-old son, Kirby Smart. I worked with his son, taught him wrestling, because down there they don't really wrestle a ton.
Really?
So he would have me train those guys. Kirby Smart, I actually gave my business card to because I thought I was slick. And I was like, just in case you need me to train your son anymore. He looked at it. I guarantee when he walked away, he threw that thing away so fast.
Right away, yeah.
So
You never know if you don't try, though, right?
But that's amazing how he snuck in
Yeah.
and got in the back door. He went
So
to school.
ever since then, I've been kind of doing that. Like I've been on Jimmy Kimmel before. I met Prince Harry. Like I've always been in the right place, right time. And it's just about putting yourself in that moment.
Like you didn't buy tickets to Kimmel, you just got into the show.
I could show you the clip after. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
How the
It's
hell
with
did
Matthew
that work?
McConaughey too. So
Yeah.
Like you were on the stage, or you were
So
like
there
in the
was a
crowd?
box outside. I put my head in, and then I was on the screen and whatnot. So I said, all right, and did that whole spiel.
So they actually took his head and put it on Jimmy Kimmel. So he did an interview with McConaughey.
no prep, just like they said you're on, and I was like,
oh, okay.
put my head in the box, like,
all right.
and you could see it.
You
I was
gotta be
like,
kidding. Is this on YouTube?
yeah.
Really?
Andy, see if you can
Yeah,
find
man.
that.
Andy
It's
might
a
go-
fan ask Matthew McConaughey a question on Jimmy Kimmel.
How would he? How is that? What it is?
Yeah.
Okay, see if you can find that, Andy.
Yeah, so he was just got done doing the movie Gold.
Yeah, so I kind of, the night before, I always like to say speak into existence, kind of like this podcast. I was like, well, shoot or shoot. So I was like, might as well shoot you a message because I saw that you were doing this.
Yep.
But I was like, I watched one of Matthew McConaughey's movies the night before because I was like, I'm going to go down there because my buddy was working.
Where was this?
Los Angeles.
Okay, yep.
I spent 2 weeks there. I was in my off season with the Braves, so I just went there and I had a friend there. And while he worked, I just kind of just Ubered everywhere and
Yeah, check
hung
stuff
out,
out,
I
right?
guess.
Heck yeah, that's
And,
awesome.
I was in one of the Jimmy Kimmel sets or whatever that was 3 days earlier, so I knew how they kind of did their operation. So like me doing normal, like sneak into things, I did kind of the same thing.
So do I need to watch out now? You're
Yeah,
just gonna come
let's-
poking
yeah,
in
let's-
randomly, even though my door's locked all the time.
Here's
Might
a
have
fun,
the code already. I don't know.
Right.
here's a fun fact that I haven't really shared publicly, I guess. So every Alabama game, even though I was an intern, you would think I had access to the stadium, all the games.
Right.
You don't get that.
Okay.
You're an intern. Like you don't exist. So I made really good friends with the big five. So there's 5 strength coaches in Division I. You got the head strength coach and then the assistants. So I was very good friends with the assistants and the head guy.
Yep.
So I dressed the part. I had the polo. I had the khakis, which I traded cheese curds and spotted cow for. I would do and venison because they don't get a lot of that.
Right. Okay.
So I got the polo because the equipment guy does not give you anything. Like you got to
Really?
barter. They'll give the athlete anything, but the intern don't matter.
Okay.
So I bartered. So every game I would walk in with Kendall Moorhead. He played in the NFL for about 6 years. Big dude. I would just follow him in, and then he would go his way to the tunnel, and then I would go to the recruiting section. Nobody'd question me. I'd be on the field before the game start, and then I'd come off. And then first time I did it, I was so nervous because Cochran, he always like pumps everybody up, hits them in the chest and whatnot. And he looked at me like it was okay, and I was like, I'm gonna do this all season.
Yeah.
So I did it every home game and then all that. Yeah.
Really?
Wow, awesome. So it looks like Andy got that clip. Of,
Yep, there it is.
There it is.
All right, let's watch this one.
It's funny.
I don't know if you saw the face hole that we have set up outside.
I saw that.
We happened, the first woman we ran into said she wanted to be a talk show host, so we've been putting people on, and I thought it might be fun if we put somebody's, hi, what's your, okay, well, I guess we'll ask him when he gets his head in there. All right, so put his head, hi there, what's
There we
happening?
go.
How we doing tonight? All right, all right?
One more, all right, you got it.
All right, all right, all right.
All right.
I bet you don't hear that enough, huh?
Never heard that. Who said that?
What's your name?
I'm Aaron.
Baron?
What's your name?
Baron like the Trump boy or Baron like you
Aaron.
can't have children? Oh, Darren.
Aaron.
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 Like Aaron Rodgers.
I got you. Okay.
Aaron Rodgers. I'm from Wisconsin, so I love that.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron, do you want to take over the role of host and ask Matthew McConaughey a question?
Yes,
Okay.
I have
Yes.
a question.
Oh, yeah, hold on. Now,
Us.
let's put your head on my head.
Yes, Aaron.
Okay. You're looking the wrong way, Aaron. Aaron, yeah, there you
There
go.
it is.
All right.
Hang
So
on. Hey,
last night-
You got something in your teeth right there.
Be careful. It's like
Hey.
a
Hey
cobra.
there.
Yes.
So last night I was watching How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, right?
Yeah. Again?
So my question for you, Matt. Yeah, we'll go with Matthew. I like Matthew better. What is your favorite film you've done?
Gold. One coming out right now. Favorite character I've ever played for sure.
There you go. What do you think? Aaron, what do you think?
I think that's a good. I need to see it now.
Go Friday night. Check it out.
All right, Aaron, off with your head.
All right.
All right, I'm going to put. Oh, there it goes. Oh, how about that? Wow, it's magic. It's really unbelievable.
I like that movie.
Six
Those
months
are the.
later, I met Prince Harry. So I was like,
Jeez.
By kind of the same happenstance, or
yeah. So he does Invictus Games, which is for wounded warriors.
Yep.
And that was before all of his marriage and everything like that going on. So it was in Orlando, and where the Braves had spring training at the time was Disney, and that's where our practice were. So we had all access to go in and out as we please. So he was they were setting up, they were doing a routine with some of the Marines, and he was watching the prep work for it, so he was out there, and there was nobody else out there besides a bunch of guys kind of spread out, like all Secret Service for him. Whenever he would travel at the time, he'd have 100 people for just him. I didn't know that.
Yep.
I learned this all after. And so he was on the field, and I was like, I had to Google him because I was like, there's no way that's actually him. I'm like, well, how is this? Like, it was just perfect timing. And he walked past me a
is he
couple.
the redheaded one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I spent zero
Yeah.
time worrying
Yeah.
about the
So
royal
yeah, he walked
family.
past a couple times, and I thought
Zero.
about the Nick Saban not having that moment. So
Yeah.
I asked him for a photo, and he had his British accent. Absolutely, man, or whatever. Put his
Yeah.
arms around you, whatever.
Really? No interesting stories, Coot, like that for you, or
I can't top those.
yeah, jeez.
So
I think with him, obviously, fandom is not really. It's just I was in the right place, right time. Cool opportunity. I don't really think more than that. Like, I think fishing with him is a lot more of a highlight for me. Like, even when he caught his biggest perch ever a couple weeks ago, I don't know if you saw a photo. It was 15-inch perch. I thought
see
that was
that.
the coolest moment for me over all those moments, because I don't get to see him catch PRs.
Yes.
Like, that's just
yeah,
Do you
good
need a
luck.
tissue?
yeah.
You need a tissue?
Yeah.
Yeah, where's
Yeah, there's no snacks or nothing on this table.
So, Coot, I got a question for you. So, you've been in this product development game now for a long time.
It seems like it. Yes.
How many products have you developed?
Right. Well, I have 4 actually on the market right now.
Okay.
The 5th one will be coming out in December, but I've actually designed, I think it's 8 different things.
8 different things.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
So-
What are they all? I mean,
the
I'm
first-
assuming you remember them all.
The first one will be the Coots Gluer kits.
Okay. Yep.
That was with the spinners and harnesses and the flutter spoons and all that. Then I came out with the rattling worm harness system. Then 2012 would have been 2008, I came out with the Tommy Harris, he called it the Spoon DeVille. That was a flutter
Yep.
spoon with slow depth. I love that system on the Bay of Green Bay. I killed
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I remember those.
And then came out with the rattling wasp system, 4s and 5s. Then I came out with the Firefire planer board lights, which have
Yep.
been selling like crazy. Fleet Farm sells a lot of those. So
Yep.
I can't keep them in stock, it seems like. And that one I can actually use in wintertime. I've been showing guys you can do on tip-ups.
Tip-ups,
right,
yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Then I came out with the Magnet Go. Sold over 3,000 last year. It's one of those things. It's to me, it's a must.
Yeah.
That, hold your net in one place. And then I started with the strolling rods, 2,100 in 3 years. Like, I must be doing something right, because
Right.
everybody sure keeps buying them. They like them a lot. I think when I design a product, I want to make sure it's quality but priced right.
Yes.
Because fishing shouldn't cost an arm and leg to go out there. And I can't see $100 trolling rod. I just don't understand that.
Right.
So, my top one is the 8'6", and that's like $60. It's very comparable.
Yep.
So,
And Bob is a big fan of the Firefly. Now those are something like, what is it? You can put them in the freezer, or did I see a clip on that? Like they last for like how many hours?
Well, when I was testing the batteries, what's the worst thing for a battery?
Cold, yeah.
So I threw this on, I turned it on, threw it in my freezer. 52 days it lasted on.
52 days?
I thought, boy, this is a hell of a lithium battery.
I was going to say, was it lithium?
Oh, yeah. And I says, I wanted to make the best product as best I can. So I said, okay, I'm going to put over $200.
I don't know if a lot of people fish for 52 days a year.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Seriously.
Well, like I said, I want to make sure I put something out there, because if it's junk, guess what? You're down a tube right away.
Yeah.
So
which one is your favorite? If you had to pick one of all those designs, which one is your favorite?
I like them all, but I tell you, this trolling rod, Kenny at HT says, and I told him, I says, I want to design a trolling rod. He says, well, what do you want to do different? I says, I got to shorten the butt up. I got to take the trigger off. I want 2 metal reel seats. I want the threading up forward. I want the triangular foregrip. I want the hook saver on there. And I wanted a composite. I don't want fiberglass. I want something that's, because when you take the board off, boy, you can actually feel the fish on my rods.
Yep.
And last year I started using my medium light on the Bay of Green Bay. I had 2 guys come up from Alabama to fish. And I says, I give you the option. I says, we can do Winnebago. We catch a lot of walleyes, but little ones. Or go up to Green Bay. We catch big ones, but very few.
Yeah.
We caught 5 walleyes for 38 pounds. And these guys were just, I've never seen a pole bend over like this. He says, this is like ocean fishing up here on these rods. So I've been loving this medium light rod. It's awesome.
Well, we actually had Coot on. You were live on the water when we did a little TRS Live segment about your rods, and I mean they are incredible. It's a great design.
TRS sells a lot of rods.
Yeah, we
They
do.
really
And the
do.
Real Shot sells a lot of that stuff, and that's crazy. So, like, when you're designing these stuff, I mean, obviously with the rods, you knew what you wanted.
Yep.
With Magnet Go, what happened one day where you're like, this needs to be rectified? I need to help create something for that.
Watching fishing shows with
Okay.
people with nets. And actually, when I take people out to fish, they have fun. I actually said, I want to see you net. And so watching all these people, how it started, I used an offshore planer board clip. I clipped the net to a zip tie on the shaft of the landing net.
Yep.
And that's how I designed it. I said, I got to come up with something that's quicker and simpler and all that. And I thought, magnets, that's what I need, magnets.
Yeah.
So it took me over a year to figure out what pound test and how big and all that kind of, make it feasible. They only sell for $10. It's
Yep.
it's a nice accessory for your landing net and all. So that's how I came up with it. I just, you're on the boat, you're thinking, like, yeah, you know that.
Oh, yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I remember when he was first testing it, like he had a super strong magnet that was like, that thing would not budge no matter how big the fish was. It was just like lock solid. I was like, we need to change that.
I think the one thing, the biggest mistake people make with nets is they put the net in the water too soon.
Yep.
Or they put the net hoop in the water, and then when they got to try to move, there's drag there. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's absolutely, it fixes the number one issue for sure.
Especially, I use the Eagle slider number 2. I love that net extends way out there. Well, when you're out there and that hits the water, guess what? Now it's going backwards. It's heading right for those hooks.
Yep.
And now with the magnet going there, and I got a testimony from a guy that got one big walleye at the Merck National about 4 years ago. He says, if I wouldn't have had that magnet going, I would have never got that 7-pounder in the boat.
Wow.
I says, thank you. I appreciate it very much.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And now, like you mentioned, you have a little tip-up design going on. Can you give us a little bit of insight to what we're going to potentially?
Nothing.
It's zero.
Not a visual, not a
not
nothing.
it's like it's locked and key right now.
Well, when I showed this to Kenny, the owner of HT, and Tom Grunwald's part owner, and he had his own TV show, and he looked at it and he says, oh my God, we need to build that. I says, why? What do you think? And he says, I've never seen something this unique and different. I says, well, that's why I try to do this, because I want to make it accessible or user-friendly for a lot of different things. So I can use it as a tip-up. I can use it as a jig rod holder. I can actually use it in my ice shanty as a dead stick.
Okay.
So I can do all this interchanging with things to make it affordable for a person that can buy one thing to do 4 or 5 different things.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm kind of excited to get this thing really go out there and start
Do
promoting.
you think it'll be next December you're going to try to launch it at the ice show?
We're going to get like 500 to 600 made.
Is that still like the first or second week of December?
First weekend.
First weekend in December? Okay.
Yep. So if you've never ever been there and you love ice fishing, you got to go to see that thing, because to me, that's where all the inventors are for ice fishing stuff. Everybody's invented something there. It's really cool.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
And so I kind of want to look what you mentioned earlier, like the social media aspect. And for you, like, obviously we pay attention to a lot of your stuff. We follow a lot of your stuff.
You've helped us a lot. Thank you.
Well, the TikTok thing really blew up for you guys.
Right.
And what, like, that was just like you said, one day you just decided to do some on De Pere. And do you remember, like, which was the first video that kind of propelled everything for that?
So it wasn't De Pere. So he was in Alabama. He sent me a clip of him making lead head jigs. And I don't know why it hit like 4.3 million views or something like that. So he's making lead head. I'll let you tell the story, actually.
I'm just pouring 1/8-ounce jigs. I'm telling him how I'm doing and what the temperature of lead is melting, kind of making information on all that. So I bust them out, and one almost landed and hit me, the groin.
Yeah.
And I think everybody like, oh, that's going to be hot.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just took off.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, like when TikTok first started, it was on fire. Like you could get followers left and right.
Right.
And I was like, well, we can use this platform to help your YouTube page because you can link them.
Yep.
So I was like, well, if you're growing here, maybe people will click to go over there, and that helped them a little bit. And then it really turned into, it's transitioned, I should say, some of the viral videos, because we got about 16 now. I keep kind of tabs on like what does well, what doesn't. Ice scooping videos do very well.
Just scooping the hole.
Just scooping
No
a hole.
talking.
We got probably, I don't know,
Is it
probably
one of those satisfying type things?
yeah, 3 dozen that are over 100,000 to 500,000 views just on those.
Yeah.
Auger videos, everybody and their mother will tell you how to drill a hole. They get lots of engagement, whether it's good or bad.
Yep.
No crap,
How many
really.
different ways is there to drill a hole?
So we tested, when was that, 3 years ago?
Yeah, we did 4 different
We won't say
augers.
which augers they are because I don't want to start a feud.
Yeah.
But we got all brand new drills, all new augers, everything
Batteries.
brand new. The only thing that wasn't consistent was the person drilling the hole, which
Right.
is debatable. Some people are
Yeah.
better than others.
Yep.
So we did a race or whatever. I posted the video, didn't think anything of it. I don't know, it had like 500,000 views in 3 hours. It was just like bananas. Just the commentary was pretty good. I had to take it down
Yep.
in 14 hours because we got a call that one of the drills was actually a competitor of the other, or they worked together. And it it was built for an educational thing
Right. Yeah.
because people like to see what's faster.
Yeah.
And so, we had to take it down. But
So
anyways,
why did you have to take it down?
one of the companies worked with another company, and they did.
So
The
like
owners
2
were.
separate drill brands, but they're like
combined,
the same
yeah.
They
drill
did
brand.
something. They had some
Yeah.
type of business arrangement that
Right.
they weren't happy that we were kind of.
Showing
Their one drill took last over the other one, so they weren't happy about that.
So it got that much attention that somebody made you
that's
take
where
it down.
yeah.
I'm not nice. I would have said then fix it.
Right.
But I'm
It
not
was
taking my
one of
video
those
down.
things,
right.
but that's how I learned auger drills always work well.
Right.
Other things, his Coot bloopers have been pretty successful.
Yep.
And then we started Coot's Kitchen. My mom is a great cook,
Yep.
so we started doing a segment like that. And then we started Coot's Adventures because he had his
mishap.
trailer broke, his
UTV going down with me.
UTV
all
going in
that.
Lake of the
Oh.
Woods. He hit a deer. Like it just was just constant stuff. So I was like, any attention's good attention, I guess.
Right.
I was like, but he was doing it as an educational thing, especially with the UTV going down.
Yeah.
Not everybody has experienced that or what to do. And with the firefighter background, like he at least had some good insight of like what he should have done right or what he shouldn't have done.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're on Lake of the Woods with Keith Cavias, and it was a Sunday night, and it was starting to blow, get dark, and it was really getting ugly out there. And I texted Keith, I said, I'm going to head in right now. So I got my stuff put together. I got the screen up on the rants, start following my trail, and somehow I veered off, so I stopped, and I trying to see, I see 2 guys over this way, so I thought, I'll just head over by them. All of a sudden, I felt that right front tire go in, and oh boy, I quick threw the door open, which were soft-sided. There were zipper windows, so this is my second way out. If I had to get out, the window was undone already, so I could push it open. By the time I was halfway out, that roof was on my back, pulling me down.
Holy
This
smokes.
is, I thought, okay, start squirming as fast as you can. And
Yeah.
I got out, and I just started yelling. He come out and says, oh my God, you lost your UTV. And everybody says, weren't you scared? I said, no, I was more mad because my wife's going to kill me.
Yeah.
This is only 6 months old.
Oh,
How
no.
deep water were you in?
Only 8 feet.
Okay, so she was gone.
Yeah, because what I told people about this UTV thing, they're going to go in head first. you better have a second way out because these are suicide doors. You can't get those doors open if you're going down, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking I might have to take this glass window off the back, get a plexiglass, put Velcro all the way around it. Now, if I'm going down, I can actually push this out because that air pressure is going to help push it out also. Well, I haven't got around to doing that, but
could you pull up the clip that you can see kind of the visual? It's Coot's YouTube or Coot UTV Rescue.
Is it on YouTube or TikTok?
On everything.
Oh, it's on
but
both.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
UTV Rescue.
Yeah.
But some of the pictures. So I got.
What's that?
Sorry, go ahead.
I got the news because my mom was at my house. She had a drink in her hand. I'm like, this is not normal that she's over this late, and why does she have a drink in her hand? And I'm like, why are you here? And I knew he was in Minnesota. And so he's like, well, your dad lost the UTV. I was like, is he okay?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, he's fine, but I'm not too happy about it. I was like, I can tell you're drinking. And so that night they sent me all the footage or whatever, and then I put it out there, and
It just exploded. Like, wow.
But then when he got back, he did a educational video of like, hey, this is what happened to me. I mean, a lot of people that would lose their stuff don't want to be really seen in the public eye, and
right.
He just wanted to inform people
Well,
like, hey,
getting control over it.
Yeah.
it's the other video. That's the talking video. Oh, you can see it.
Had
if
a
you open it.
50-50 shot and you screwed it up. Yeah.
Dang it.
Was a UTV salvageable? Like,
No.
It was complete loss, huh?
Everybody says you need to turn the motor off and put it in neutral. As I'm trying to call
Yeah,
out.
right? Yes.
Right. These are the comments I get on this kind of stuff.
Yes.
It's crazy. But no, it was hydrolocked.
Right.
Once you get that hydrolock, plus if you would have showed that picture of me in that trailer, it looked like a brick of ice.
It's frozen solid.
I had a 12-hour trip getting back.
Oh.
I couldn't thaw it out that quick. And it was that cold, but you got to remember, there it is sitting there. So I did have an inflatable right there, that nebulous.
So if you fast forward a little bit.
As soon as I crawled out, I pulled that because I didn't know how deep a water was going to be in.
Yeah.
So I pulled that out, and there's Keith Caballas there helping.
These are all pictures at the beginning.
Oh, there's a video too. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It just shows like the process of them getting it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
It was cold.
It looks a little cold.
Yeah. But
I mean, we're glad that you're okay, but that's a
well, that's
bummer.
why I wanted to educate people
Yeah.
on these things because UTV, well, that was 2020. They were just starting to get popular,
Right.
Not even Ed the diver could pull that out.
Well, they're dangerous on the ice because their footprint's so small with the weight.
Yep.
Wow.
And that's why Keith uses a snowmobile.
Yep.
In case he comes on something thin, he can gun it and go.
Go
But
right across.
To me,
it.
I'm more useful for a UTV than a snowmobile. I'd rather have the UTV.
Well, UTVs are nice because you can use them year round.
Right. That's
But
why I'm practical.
I
that
like
way.
the sleds on the ice myself too because if I hear something, just
Right.
give her.
Right. Yep. That's all
That's
true.
why we have a drone now. We can kind of get a visual before we go out, kind of
Nice.
what's a good path to take.
What is Dylan saying? The winch out tool was awesome.
The
Recently,
owner,
the block.
yeah, the owner, Anderson's Point, I forgot his first name, but anyways, he came out there with a 6x6, or side by side of 6 people. So what he did is he had an anchor point ahead of the machine, put a log in the water. That was his anchor point. Then he had another winch in the back, and he wanted to cantilever my machine out. I kind of looked at him. I said, well, okay. I knew it wasn't going to work. He was trying to grab both wheels with two 2x12s. I said, that ain't going to work. It's too much weight. There's no fulcrum there. He says, well, what do you want to do? I says, let's take the boards, put them under the back wheels, and start prying that up first to get it up. And once we did that, it just popped right out.
Really?
Yeah. So, I never want to criticize another man's work unless I can do it better. So
Right.
I let him try it first, but it was cold out there.
Jeez.
So it cost us maybe $200 cash, lunch, and I had HT send them about $500-600 with product up there.
Nice.
So super nice guys
Small
up there.
price to pay.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, now how does that work insurance wise? Because like I've always heard, like if you take it on the ice, like you're taking it on your own risk. Is that the situation, or did
I made sure when I talked to my insurance guy, I says this will be part of my business, and I'm going ice fishing. If it goes through, I want to make sure it's 100% covered. Yep, we'll write it up all that, and sure enough, and that one didn't have
an
heat.
insurance show.
yeah.
That one didn't have heat. It was terrible. But I didn't $200 or $2,000 for heat. Well, this new one I got's got heat, and I like it.
Yeah.
I bet you do.
Factory heat is very nice.
Jeez Louise.
But
Well,
my
they price them like small cars now for crying out
oh yeah,
loud.
that was 22 grand right there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The new ones are pushing 40.
Oh,
That's crazy.
unbelievable. Then the other one that made me pretty famous is I'm heading over to Lake Erie for the fall brawl with him. We're just getting past West Bend by Cabela's there. I hit a 6-point deer with my 250 Ford truck. So my cop buddy and I were looking at it, and he says, well, there's nothing leaking. It's just cosmetic and all that. I says, we're still going. So we get into Ohio, pull into a gas station. He gets out first, and he goes, what's wrong with your tire on your trailer? I look at, I got a broken axle. There's a tire at a 45-degree angle.
Oh, no.
So I told him, I says, okay, you start calling around for a welder, see if we can get a hold of one. So I'm kind of assessing this thing, and all of a sudden 2 guys pull up with a white township truck. I says, hey, you guys got a wire feed welder? Yeah. I said, okay, can I rent it? He's, just come on over. So I get over, and he's got all the right stuff that I need to fix this thing. So I jack it up, I torque it over, and I look at the axle that's broken. They missed like half a weld on the circle. I said, that's where it broke. So I pounded it back over, I re-welded it, and we were fishing 2 hours later.
Oh, jeez. Not too many people can do that kind of stuff.
No
So
kidding.
obviously you're very handy as
Right.
well. I mean,
That's one of my past professions as a welder. I just love welding. It's a fun
For me
thing
to watch that process, though, because I'm excited to go to Lake Erie for the first time. We
Yeah.
hit a deer within the first 45 minutes, and then the axle, I'm like, we're never going to make it.
Yeah.
And then I'm seeing him take a sledgehammer and hit a
big 6x6.
6x6 on the wheel well. I'm like, what are you
Trying to
doing?
torque it over a little
He's
bit
like,
more.
just watch.
Yeah.
And then he fixed it. And we're
Watch
on
and
our way.
learn, boy.
Yeah.
So, 2023, like what's in the works now? I mean, obviously things are rolling for you guys. They've been rolling for a number of years.
Yep.
What kind of things are you going to try to do more in 2023?
I try to do a couple of the Sheboygan Walleye clubs with him or my daughter. Share time with those guys on the water.
Yep.
I'm getting more into doing stuff for the veterans, taking veterans out fishing.
That's awesome.
I love their stories that they tell, and they thank me for doing what I said, no, you're the guys that I want to thank because you put your life on the line. Mine was just a career job thing,
Yep.
And also I'm getting more involved with Josie's Gifts.
Yes. We were a
that's
part of
with
that. Yep.
BJ, I had a 12-year-old girl, Haley, terminal brain cancer, still living, thank God. She caught her biggest walleye ever and her biggest catfish that day with
Yep,
us. And
I
we
remember
actually won with that walleye with her. And to see the face smile on that is, I'll never have a bad day fishing ever again,
Yep.
having her in my boat like
Absolutely.
that. Then I hook up with Art Dumpke down there. He does the Boys and Girls Club. I love taking that. He says, well, what do you want this year, girls or boys? I says, I'd like to have girls. He says, why is that? I says, every time I get a boy, all they want to do is drive my boat.
Yeah.
They don't want to fish. They want to go
They
fast.
want to go fast. Yep.
And it was so hot out that day. I told the girl, I says, if you're hot, I said, just jump in the live well. So she jumps in the live well. She spends half the day in the live well.
Just kind of
geez.
sitting there relaxing.
Yeah. So after that, I'm doing the NTC with my buddies Rusty and Devin that they got a bid over in South Dakota, Mobridge. And it was so hot out that day, I sat in my live well,
You're right.
drinking a cocktail, watching them fish. Every day's a venture. I just love doing this stuff.
That's
It's
awesome.
Yep.
And the Tomorrow's Anglers.
Oh, yes. Tomorrow Anglers, yep, with Mercury down at Skipper Bud's. That's always a good one. We had a good kid this year, caught a couple nice walleyes with
We
him.
won most fish caught, I think, for that tournament.
Right, yep. So that's why I'm really enjoying summer. I will be going to Lake Erie for only 1 week this year. Last week I did 6 weeks. I brought out 20 friends. We had 2 boats total. Every week was different people. They've had an experience they've never had before catching walleyes like that. Just awesome fisher over there. So,
Oh, that's great.
Awesome.
and plus I also hooked up with some new vendors selling all my products over there now, and they're buying more again.
And then some things that we're looking forward to do. So I mentioned Ed the Diver earlier.
Yep.
So I messaged him kind of like you. I messaged him because I've been watching a lot of his content with just like cleaning up the waterways, which is a pretty neat thing.
Yes.
And he's just a great guy in general. So we did a scuba diving thing up in Sheboygan?
No, Marinette.
Marinette. So we'd like to do some more videos with him, especially in De Pere. I mean, how many anchors did he pull out?
27 one day.
Into Pier?
Into Pier.
That doesn't surprise me.
That's a lot of muscle pull to pull those things
He's
out.
he's doing that underwater. He's pulling them out.
And he's doing it for free. Nobody's paying him to do this.
He's got to be pretty careful, though. I mean, there's got to be crankbait hooks all over.
Oh, you should see some of the stuff that guy brings out.
Yeah.
He's pulled a lot out, and I told him he needs to do a road show. Get on the road selling his stuff. He's got a big trailer. He sells all his stuff. He's into painting now, so he wants my lures. He's painting all my blanks and that kind of stuff. So it's really cool meeting these people. You know? So who's another guy we met on?
Jeremy Littell.
Yep.
So Little Johnny
Jerky.
Jokes.
He's got,
I mean, I don't want to name drop, but his accounts are pretty high.
Substantial.
10 million on one account, 4 million on another, over $1.5 million. Like, he's just a great guy that really blew up during COVID because he's a funny dude. He's got, his kids are funny, and so I kind of headhunted him because he was. I kind of observed, like, in the fishing environment what's going on, and I saw that he had an HT tip up. So I messaged him like before his accounts got big, and I was like, "Hey, would you be interested in doing something with us?" And we've had a good relationship with him ever since.
Yeah, so he's got my product now trying out. He just loves it. He says, "This is really cool."
Really?
I wish I would have had this years ago. I would have used it all the time. So, but I like his input.
But it's just amazing the opportunities you have at your disposal if you reach out.
Yep.
And it's about doing things like this to help each other out, and it really helps.
Well, that's phenomenal. That's good stuff, and it's cool for us because, like, obviously with the store carrying some of your stuff, and then you fishing head to head, and this kind of relationship that we formed through just knowing
I think
each
they
other.
need to film their own reality show now and just call it the Coots.
Well, we did.
No, it's the Dude Factor. Come on, we just named the show.
Do we fit in the Dude Factor now?
I'm saying, no, that's my show. I'm saying you need to have your own reality show on Fixed TV. Just call it the Coots.
Well, we do have a room to do it in, I guess, right?
Well, we were talking about how, we were talking about some of the, not the struggles, but the headaches with the YouTube side, and I was telling them about the Fixed TV platform.
Right.
And this is a really good avenue.
I heard you actually. I'm very proud of you.
Yeah, well, it's a good avenue for the content that you guys are producing.
Could be a next level for us. Who knows?
100% it could.
And you got so many interesting stories and things that's go on.
Yep.
I think it would be. I mean, you're already doing a lot of the social media stuff. You should seriously consider it.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree.
We'll continue that conversation at a different time. But
do we have any questions out there? Or?
I think it's all. I don't know if there's any questions, but I saw a lot of it was positive. Andy, do we miss any questions? Anything on there?
The only one I saw is Anthony Richter said, "If you're doing a podcast, how are you going to catch any fish?"
Oh yeah, he's too busy doing this stuff. Yeah,
we do have a green room.
Yeah, we do. We can pretend like we're fishing right now.
Absolutely,
we could totally.
I'm
pretend.
thinking ahead here.
Well, and that's the other thing too is, like, not only is maybe this is a podcast. Maybe you guys could start your own kind of podcast. I mean, we have spaces available that this would be. I think we had Cody Solberg on, and him and I were talking about this, and Cody's like, he had so much fun. I had to throw the punt at him. I go, like, now you're addicted. You need your fix. And I spelled the PHYX, but he's like, these appear to be a lot more intimidating than what they really are.
I think they're a riot.
And then if you just kind of have fun and do it, and obviously people think you guys are interesting, which you really totally are, this could be a whole nother platform. So I think it's awesome, and we would be very excited if you guys would join the Fixed TV platform too, which we can talk about. So as of now, until we get you on the Fixed side of things, where can people find all your social media stuff or all your contact
I'll
information?
let him talk about that.
CootsLures.com, Coots Lures Facebook, Coots Lure Instagram, Coots Lure TikTok, Coots Lure Twitter, Coots Lure Google search. You'll find it. We're kind of everywhere. Wherever your eyeballs are, I'm on it.
Yeah, you got it.
That's the plan, right? You got to be.
Well, a lot of people don't realize.
And just stick your head in it.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that not all your followers follow you on one platform.
Correct.
You may like Facebook. I may like Instagram.
Yep.
You may like Twitter Spaces. He may like YouTube Shorts, and then somebody else like long form. It's all interconnected. It's just a matter of putting it out there, which is a little bit tedious, and but. It really helps spread awareness, and it also helps, like, his big thing is we want to help smaller businesses too.
Yep.
So, like, when he goes into a bait store, he wants to promote them, not himself. He wants to promote them so people know where they can go to get good quality products.
Yep. Perfect.
Yep.
Well, we do appreciate you guys making time today. I know Aaron's got to get to a job, and
Yeah, I got to actually work. He doesn't.
Yeah, he's got to roll. So we're going to wrap this up. So everybody, it's exciting. We appreciate the Coots making time to join us today. And then remember, now this would be the Dude Factor, and then we will notify on the Real Shot social media when TRS Live will be happening. So from all of us here, guys, thanks so much again, and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. And Brian and I will see you Friday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time.
Let's go fishing.
Let's go fishing.